kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me.
Just met, and you haven't got me quite figured out yet. I guess I'll save you some time. I got more than just one side. These worn out boots and these scarred up knuckles are from too much fun and from too much trouble. I wouldn't blame you if you walked away, but I really hope you'll stay. Cause I got a wild side when I'm feeling just right. Hang on, cause it's gonna be a rough ride. Get the feelings that I just can't hide. When it comes out at the wrong time, I got a wild side, 10 feet tall and it's double wide. I get the feeling that you just might like to meet my wild side. Words, I put God and family first, but sometimes turning that other cheek, it's just too much for me. I know what you think you see when you're staring right through me. You might get a surprise, cause I've got another side. I got a wild side when I'm feeling just right. Hang on, cause it's gonna be a rough ride. Get the feelings that I just can't hide when it comes out at the wrong time. Cause I got a wild side, 10 feet tall and it's double wide. I get the feeling that you might like to meet my wild side. worn out boots and scarred up knuckles are from too much fun and from too much trouble. I know we just met, and you haven't got me quite figured out yet. I guess I'll save you some time. I got more than just one side. His worn out boots and his scarred up knuckles are from too much fun and from too much trouble. I wouldn't blame you if you walked away, but I really hope you'll stay. Cause I got a wild side when I'm feeling just right. Hang on, cause it's gonna be a rough ride. Get the feelings that I just can't hide. When it comes out at the wrong time, I got a wild side, 10 feet tall and it's double wide. I get the feeling that you just might like to meet my wild side. I heard the preacher's words, I put God and family first, but sometimes turning that other cheek, it's just too much for me. I know what you think you see when you're staring right through me. You might get a surprise, cause I've got another side. I got a wild side when I'm feeling just right. Hang on, cause it's gonna be a rough ride. Get the feelings that I just can't hide. When it comes out at the wrong time, cause I got a wild side, 10 feet tall and it's double wide. I get the feeling that you might like to meet my wild side.
"16 races in the regular season down. We are now into the playoffs. We are here in Iowa, Newton, Iowa to be exact, for the Hawkeye 200 and the beginning of the championship playoffs for the iSNF Cup Series. Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. Alongside me tonight, my broadcast partner, Liam Irving. And Liam, it all starts to ratchet up a little bit here tonight. We're into the playoffs. We know the 16 drivers that are going to be racing for a championship, possibly. We'll get into that a little bit later. But this is a pretty difficult little racetrack, and this is the first time the iSNF Cup Series has ever been here.
Yeah, the first time really any of these Cup guys have been here at all. It's a super tough track. It's 7/8 of a mile here. It's located just about 15 miles west of Des Moines in Newton. It is progressively banked, so you're going to see some guys be able to get some runs up on the outside coming up off of the corner. It is an old surface. It's up in the Midwest. It's been through a lot of weathering, so there's going to be bumps in some really unexpected places, and that's really going to throw these drivers for a loop.
Yeah, and again, it is a shorter track. It's going to be 230 laps here tonight. Admin cautions, once again, are in effect. However, unlike Phoenix last week, we will have stage cautions this time around so we can settle everything down. Again, with it being the first time this series has been here, there's a lot of new things that these guys and girls are going to have to watch out for coming into this race tonight.
They certainly are going to have a lot to worry about, especially given the fact that this is just a one-race round here for the round of 16. You have stages, so it's not going to be quite like our championship battle was last week in Phoenix for the NASCAR Cup Series. But these guys are going to have to work at it. One mistake could potentially take you out of the playoff here. And with 5 drivers at the bottom of this list at 2,000, they're all racing versus each other right there.
Let's take a look at those playoff championships right now. The drivers in the top 16 are the ones that are going to be running for the championship here this season. Now, a note, they want to have 16 drivers in the championship running for this round. So if any of the drivers that are currently in the playoffs are missing, their spot will be given up to the next person. So let's just say Jerry Parker didn't show up here tonight. Chris Van Maastricht would take his spot in the playoffs, and they would run with the 16. So right now, Van Maastricht is the first car out. He'll be the first one in if someone were to miss tonight.
Yeah, that's absolutely it's a tough way to make this playoff. But hey, if you can jump in there, get yourself out of this first round, your season is revitalized. The momentum that's going to bring for you and your team is going to be unmatched throughout the course of the rest of this playoff. So you hate to hope for somebody to miss it, but if we do see a change in the back end of that playoff, we might be in for a little bit of twists and turns that we didn't expect.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're about 30 seconds or so away from the qualifying session to get this race underway here tonight, as one of the drivers is going to be starting on a little bit of a back foot here tonight. Marcus Hagman is currently stuck at another... I can't think of the word. Obligation, that was it. Is stuck in another obligation. He is in the session here tonight, racing for the championship in the round of 16. However, because he is stuck at that other obligation, he might not be starting this race with everybody else, so he could be down and out of it before he even starts tonight.
Definitely don't want to see that as these guys get ready for their 5-minute qualifying session. Drivers are going to start to get out onto the racetrack, and we're going to show you who's fastest. As that 45 J Balvin Air Jordan machine gets out here first. 23 also, both 2311 cars getting out here on the racetrack early on. Other drivers such as William Britton, Peter Terrio, Jackson Carr, Michael Gervey also on the racetrack. Let's see what this 45 gets done, though. Talking about Angel Hernandez at Toyota Camry.
Angel Hernandez going into turns 1 and 2 right now, taking the middle line. And as you mentioned during the open, Liam, it is progressively banked here. So you're going to see drivers all over, up and down the racetrack here tonight, trying to, one, make moves, but I think more importantly, trying to save that right front tire for the long run.
And like I said, this is an old track, so you're going to have some bumps in unexpected spots. The outside in turn 1 and 2 is a really big bump that's really going to take away some momentum if you're going to try to run that outside. 3 and 4, however, on the outside. So you watch this 45 run up above that final seam, now cuts down below it a little bit. The outside in 3 and 4 is nice and smooth. You're going to get a nice run coming up off of the corner. Hernandez goes all the way down into the grass. We'll see if he improves. Up for third right now is Grasso up in the pole, gets a little bit loose there. See if he can improve on his time or if anybody can get around him.
There is Joshua Grosso right now. He was faster on the first half of the lap. On his second lap, we'll see what he was able to do. Not able to beat it this time around, so it'll be a 23.89 is going to be the benchmark here in qualifying. And with that solid run for Joshua Grosso, what we are going to do is we are going to bring him in, one of the championship competitors. Liam, you are with the man who currently sits on pole. Or actually, you know what? We're going to wait. He's still burning out on track.
Still got a couple laps to get it done here. And guys are given 4 laps for qualifying. Peter Terrio is able to jump up and take the top spot here. Also does not improve. He runs a 23.74 now as he starts to wind it down.
That will be a personal best for Grosso, but still third place. Now we'll bring Joshua Grosso up here. Liam, you're with the driver of the number 54.
Josh, super stout qualifying run. You're fast in practice. And I tell you what, from one Minnesota man to another, this is the closest we have to a home track. How are you feeling about coming to Newton, Iowa, 230 laps in the playoff?
I'm really excited. I do really like this track. This is the closest track to me, so I went like to the IndyCar race last year as well. But this is probably one of my favorite short tracks. So I'm pretty excited to get this going.
Well, you come up in here in, I believe, 6th place in the standings, so you've got a decent gap behind you. Only 9 points, though, separating you from that cut line. Do you have any worries on what it's going to take to stay above that throughout the course of the race?
Just gotta finish the race, and I should be all right. Gotta keep my nose clean, basically.
Tough, Josh. We wish you the best of luck. Any quick shout-outs before we let you go?
My whole team, JGR, and all the 2311 guys as well. Hope they all do pretty well.
Well, Josh, we wish you the best of luck here today. Let's get Minnesota some love.
Thank you, man.
So that was Joshua Grosso, currently sitting in the 5th position right now on track, as Brandon Hughes subbing for Nate Christensen here tonight in the number 15. Currently out on track, just 40 seconds to go, and the pole time currently occupied by Linus Brostrom, who during that interview put down a 23:64, a very, very good time for car number 3.
Super quick. You see the 15 running up on the top side, coming up out of 2. Not sure if that's going to be a strong lean for him. He's on his 3rd lap right now, trying to improve. He's up in the wall. Hasn't been able to put down a time yet. He's got one more shot at it. But yeah, like you mentioned, Brostrom up on the pole with a blazing fast 23:64. He's going to hold on to that as the qualifying session is now over.
But that was Tristen Bailey there, last week's, not just last week's winner, but last week's sweeper, having won the pole, both stages, and the race last week. Let's take a look at the starting grid here for tonight's race. Linus Brostrom will sit on pole here for the Hawkeye 200, a time of 23:642. Fabricio Lamana making his debut here tonight. The Brazilian will sit to the outside on row number 1. Peter Terrio and another debutant, Dominik Sawicki from Poland, will make up row number 2. Joshua Grosso and Jeff Wimmer in row 3. Row 4 will go to Daniel Holmer and Justin Barkley, Cody McCorkle and Jimmy Johnson in row number 5. Zach Bucher and Chris Smith will sit in row number 6. Row 7 will go to William Britton and Brian Chu. Angel Hernandez and Franz Brettschneider will sit in row number 8. Row 9 will see Charles Robertson and Alexander Arilson. Tristen Bailey, Christian Delgado will make up the top 20. And as you see the rest of the grid, let's go back to that JGR camp as Liam, you are with Charles Robertson.
Charles, it's Liam, and Frank up in the booth. You got a copy. Doing the driver's meeting right now, so we're gonna.
Oh, that's okay. Fair enough. Okay, so we'll leave him up here for just a moment, as we'll take a look now at the weather conditions here for tonight's race. In sim time, just about 6 o'clock p.m. in sim time, so this will turn into a night race over the course of the race. Wind blowing southwest 13 miles an hour. It is going to be a gusty and blustery day. A crosswind going down the back stretch and the front stretch, which is going to make the entry, I should say, to turn 1 very, very interesting here tonight. 64-degree ambient temperature, 65-degree track temperature. So it's going to be cool, but not only do they have the track surface to worry about, they're also going to have the wind to worry about here tonight.
Yeah, not to mention the iSNF series is very good at getting the accurate weather of where they're racing when they're racing. Right now, Iowa, you're getting a little bit of rain right now. It's not looking super pretty outside. So this overcast sky fits into the mold of what this series has tried to do in terms of making it the most realistic and immersive racing series that they possibly can. So this cool temperature Going to be nice on those tires for a little while, Frank, but you think that added grip is going to kind of take away what these tires have in terms of life?
It absolutely could here tonight. And if anyone from iRacing is watching this, Rhea was very, very upset here before. She was telling us prior to the race that 65 degrees is the lowest temperature you can get. She was very upset by that. So I think if we want to race in 0 degrees, I think we should have the ability to do that, don't you?
You know, it could definitely be possible. These guys in the Formula One World Championship are about to be racing in 4 degrees Celsius weather, which is about 40 degrees, maybe 45 if they get up to 7 degrees Celsius. Not great on that conversion there. I need paper and pen in front of me. But, yeah,
right.
These guys will race in very cold situations, so 65 degrees being the coldest might be a little bit frustrating, especially when it's 50 degrees and rainy in Iowa right now. But, I guess there's a reason we don't race in the Midwest in the winter.
We're on board right now with Charles Robertson, and we'll try this again. Liam, hopefully he's with us this time.
Yeah, Charles, it's Frank, Liam up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Well, you're 5th place in points. You're 1 point in front of your Joe Gibbs Racing counterpart, Josh Grosso. So you've got 10 points up in front of you in the cut line. What's it going to take to keep you up in front of that here tonight?
No, just try to get some stage points and, stay out of trouble and try to be there at the end and try to get a decent finish. I really don't know how the car is going to drive in the long run, but, yeah, we'll see. Just try to stay out of trouble and get a decent finish.
230 laps, 2 different stages. Actually, I think we're getting ready for the green here, so we're going to have to let you go here. Best of luck, bud.
Thank you, man.
So that was Charles Robertson. Some Gibbs love here early on in this in the championship. But right now, Linus Broström getting set to bring him down. Liam, take us away.
Car's getting ready to make that hard left turn. All we've got to do left is adjust that 5-point safety harness, put down the visor. Grandma, we're short tracking here. It's showtime! And the 3 car with a strong start gets out by about a car length over the 67 of Peter Terrio. 2 car lengths now. The 31 moves up to the top side. That's Fabricio Lamana. Not going to be able to get the spot there. Here comes Grosso down to the inside. Looks 3 wide, but not quite able to make the move.
There's a car in the wall back there that ended up falling towards the back. I believe it was the 34 of Shane Griffin. There he is. Oh, no, actually it was the 21 of Chris Smith that was in the wall coming out of turn 2. Linus Broström, however, a nice look out in front of him as there's Fabricio Lamana getting clear. Joshua Grosso already up a couple spots, looking for second now on the 31.
Looking down to the inside, but coming up off of turn number 4, it's going to be super tough to keep that grip down on the bottom with that progressive banking that we mentioned. Turns 3 and 4, it's super smooth up top. These guys are going to be able to get it wound up and get some great speed coming up off the corner.
Running on board with Joshua Grosso as we look back at Dominic Sawicki and Peter Terrio. Peter Terrio is no stranger to sim racing media. Once again, just like Lilith Peters in another league. I know the name, just cannot remember the league that he was in. He'll be piloting the 67 here tonight.
Peter's good stuff. I think I've worked with him in a couple of different leagues. Maybe I've driven in, and he's done a little bit of broadcasting himself. So, good to see somebody from the booth getting down on the racetrack and performing well. That gives guys like us hope, right, Frank?
Absolutely. I do have the only win as an SRM broadcaster on SRM, so that's something for everyone else to shoot for. As Charles Robertson looks to the outside of teammate Cody McCorkle. McCorkle able to pull away a little bit. By the way, you're seeing the gold names on the timing and scoring tower. Those who are highlighted in gold are playoff drivers. If they win and clinch a spot into the next round, those names will be turned to green. So for those of you wondering where your favorite playoff driver is running, just look for the gold bar.
This being a round of 1 race, we're not going to see that green bar in effect until probably about 2 weeks from now if we get a playoff driver winning next week. But I do just want to give a quick update. Marcus Hagman still has not started this race. We are 7 laps complete this time around. Marcus Hagman just now, I believe, might be getting onto the racetrack here.
Let's take a look and see. He is on pit road right now as we see this battle. The 41 of Justin Barkley to the inside of Jimmy Johnson in the 62. A little bit of contact from Jeff Weimer with that outside wall. Not missing anything up front. Linus Broström a half a second clear from Fabricio Lamana. Joshua Grosso, Dominic Sawicki still there. Peter Terrio, this is just outside the top 5 as Angel Hernandez makes a 3-wide pass in the middle, gets past Zach Bucher in the number 36.
Great racing all around here at Iowa, and that's exactly what we're expecting to see out of the Cup Series. Oh, look at that. Little bit of close moment there between Jim Johnson and Jeff Weimer getting down into turn 1 this time. It looks like Jimmy's going to be able to slide up, maybe take that spot away as the 2 has to let off going over that bump. Now Jimmy, a little bit sideways coming up off of turn number 2. And this just goes to highlight how tough it is to pass here. Jimmy's going to try to pull this slide job, get up the racetrack. The 2 is going to have a big run, crosses him over, cuts down to the inside. That's what short track racing is all about.
Got to pick your spots here on short tracks, and especially with cars with as much power as these things do, as both the 45 and 41 catch the turn 2 wall. Weimer still not quite able to clear Jimmy Johnson. Very close, a little bit of contact. Weimer able to keep it straight. Great save from car number 2.
That's going to push Weimer back a ton of positions, though. He's dropping like a rock with that slide. Now he's just got to try to get those tires cleaned off, cooled down, and get back into his rhythm.
Lands in front of Brian Chu, who is currently occupying the 20th position there in that number 11. As we'll take a look again a little bit further up. This is not quite even out of that battle that we were just watching. Back on board with Charles Robertson behind his teammate. Robertson with Tristen Bailey to the inside, subbing in for Emily Figrell, car number 99.
Crash the 9 goes around the racetrack up in front of Cody McCorkle. Charles Robertson looks to have gotten through, but the caution's going to come out for the first time here today as the 9 car of Daniel Homer gets turned around coming up off of turn number 4.
Fastest man in practice, and unfortunately the first of the playoff drivers to run into trouble here tonight is Daniel Homer. Let's take a look and see what happened with the Napa car. Battling with Jimmy Johnson, and that's some contact on the corner. We did the 36. The 19 gets a piece of it, as does the 8.
19, Cody McCorkle was up involved in there. Did not see the 36 initially, but tough break for Zach Bucher there. Lost the front bumper there. He's got sparks dragging.
He might have
not handling well, but luckily for these drivers, they do get one fast repair here.
He might have some rear suspension broken because the way that rear end was spinning, I think he's finally decided to take the tow. So Zach Bucher with damage. There's the 9 of Homer. He has not yet come down pit road. As we're starting to see some cars from the back in the midfield. There's Cody McCorkle. See a little bit of a seam on that right front. Nose also caved in on that 19.
He got into the back of the 36 pretty good, and 36 used his fast repair, got that bumper back. He's getting his tires changed, about ready to get back out there. We'll see if the 19 makes the same call to use the fasty. Doesn't look like it yet.
Robertson caught the back of the 19 there. Doesn't look like too much, if any, damage on that number 20. So able to escape major issues early was Charles Robertson, as Linus Broström so far Led every single lap thus far here this evening.
Every lap so far, but now he's got another restart, a couple new players behind him. Fabricio Lamana has been absolutely blazing fast, setting down one of the quicker laps of the race. Joshua Grosso in third place has been one of the drivers. I think he actually has the fastest lap of the race there with a 23.68. Lynn is not going to have that lead that he did before. A little bit early to take tires here. These guys get 6 sets in the pits. Not even 20 laps in. Quite ready to take them.
And to that point, a lot of the drivers that came in here under this caution, Joey Burgy, Brett Schneider, pardon me, Casey Tomlinson, Championship 16 member, Michael Iskander, Brandon Hughes, all of them came in and took fuel only under this caution. Brian Treadwell in the number 50, currently running in the 29th position. He came in, took 4 tires. Cody McCorkle, as you can imagine, a little bit longer pit stop to fix damage. He's going to come in and get some more fixed, as a matter of fact. William Britton, a car worth watching here tonight. Remember at the top of the show, we said that if a Championship 16 driver did not make it into the field here tonight, they would be replaced. We said Chris Van Maastricht was the first one that would replace them. William Britton here in this number 6 is the second one that would replace him. So it's worth watching both the 38 and the 6 here on the timing and scoring pylon here tonight to see where they wind up.
It was only if the drivers who made the playoff didn't show up.
Yes. Yep.
So do they still have time to show up?
I would think not, since the race has started.
So do we have 2 playoff drivers that have missed the start?
I haven't counted. We do know that Marcus Hagman is going to be here at some point, so his spot is safe for whatever that's worth here at the moment. He has not started a lap yet, so he is currently 19 laps down. But he will be running at some point here tonight. Zach Bucher, Chris Smith, Daniel Holmer, the only 3 drivers that are not on the lead lap. As we're just about ready to get this race back going again here, a third of the way through this first stage.
Ready to rock and rumble this pace car, getting ready to turn it harder left than any of us have in our lives, and it does. Into the Geico restart zone, green flag back out into the air, and Linus Brostrom with a strong restart once again gets about 2-3 car lengths from the side-by-side battle for second.
Great restart by Joshua Grosso as well, gets to the inside of Fabricio Lamana. Lamana able to hold that outside though, and that's... Short track racing is hard enough to pass. Now put it a progressive banking short track, making that outside line a little bit higher as the 20 gets into the wall there, battling with Christian Delgado in the number 4. And the caution has come out.
Entirely sure what's going on for that caution flag right now. Looks like
Brian
50
Treadwell.
and Escadar.
Another playoff driver having issues here tonight already. Let's take a look and see what happened to bring out this yellow. Focusing on Brian Treadwell here in the number 50. See 4 wide. Cody McCorkle trying to sneak the middle. 4 wide, 5 wide nearly. And as you would say, just a mess. McCorkle shoot his way through there. 4 wide. Guys like Chris Otto and Treadwell had no chance.
There's nothing you can do when there's so many cars in one small spot here. Everybody's going for it.
is on board with Chris Otto. And he'll turn across the front of the 60 because he had, or the 50 because he had nowhere to go. Trying to avoid that incident. It's like everyone got away rather damage-free. Other than a couple of bent feelings, I would say pretty well off, as you see the 36 of Zach Bucher take the free pass.
And back on the lead lap, give us 32 cars on the lead lap here at Iowa Speedway. Beautiful 7/8 mile oval sitting here in the heart of corn country, Iowa. Like I said, about 15 miles west of Des Moines. Definitely a beautiful racetrack. I would recommend visiting, whether it be for the IndyCar Series doubleheader or the NASCAR Series debut, the Cup Series debut next year. An incredible venue, and they are super fan friendly around here.
I get a little loud with the airport just beyond the grandstands, but other than that, it's a small airport. Nothing going to blow your ears out, but
we talked a little bit before the race. You even told me that there's an airport there, and I went to the IndyCar race in 2019, and that ended up being a super long day because of a storm that rolled through. I don't think they started the race until probably 11 o'clock, and we didn't leave there until 2 a.m., so super long day, and through all that, I did not notice an airport.
Very observant, Liam Ervick.
I could blame the beer, but I could also blame the fact that there was no planes coming in and out at the time, so maybe they had to close up.
They might have done. Those of you wondering, it is Newton Municipal Airport. Earl Johnson Field is the airport that sits just beyond the front straightaway. Now, let's
feet. I was going to say 1,000 feet away from the grandstand.
Yep, just about. Now let's test your memory here. The street that goes behind turn 3. What driver is that named after?
Oh, is it Rusty Wallace?
It is Rusty Wallace. Very good. Very, very good.
They actually have a kind of a monument, like a rock carved monument to Rusty outside of the ticket office. So
there you go. Just,
a lot of cool history here.
Just south of I-80 in Newton, Iowa. You didn't think you were going to get a geography lesson on the broadcast now, did you? As the field starting to double up, getting set to go back to green flag racing. Linus Brostrom out in front. Looking back, that is an angry pack of wolves he's got hounding behind him.
That is a caring Camry behind him, though. You see the logo on the front there. He doesn't look so angry, but everybody else does.
Shriners Children's Hospital on the side of the 54 here tonight.
Oh, we're going to see, is Linus going to be able to get that type of strong restart? Is Grosso going to be able to get around the 31, or is Fabricio going to be strong up on the top side here on this restart? A lot of questions early on. The pace car makes a left turn into the Geico restart zone. They go a little bit later out of the 3 car that time, but still a strong restart. 2-3 car lengths of a lead, and the outside looks to be where it's at. 3 wide behind them as the 4 car of Christian Delgado works through the middle of Eraldson and the 99 of Tristen Bailey. Everybody gets through okay. So far, so good.
I think that was a Rieldson and the 13 of Jackson Carr that both kind of popped out on that restart, got a little bit lower. And boy, Jimmy Johnson didn't have a lot of room to squeeze in there.
He doesn't have a lot of room there either.
Ooh. Jimmy's trying to make it work here, is what he's doing in that number 62 right now. Making his 5th iSNF start.
working the absolute top side with Tristen Bailey and Errolson down to his inside now. Might have been a touch of the wall there. Going to lose those 2 spots, but what a fantastic set of corners that Jim Johnson there sets up for us, as now you see the 24, Danny Solo, working the inside.
We're having to back off there to allow Charles Robertson into line. Is just outside the top 10 for these guys, as Robertson to the inside of the 41. Justin Barkley, who's subbing in for Nasal here today. 3 wide, Joey Maines. Daniel Solo picks up the spot, as here comes Jeff Weimer back into the picture after he got knocked aside at the bottom of turn 4 earlier on tonight.
Of course, while we've got Jeff Weimer on our screen, I would just like to bring up the fact that it is Veterans Day. Jeff Weimer, along with Bob Wyckoff, Isaac Wilson, potentially some other drivers in this league, have served our country, and we just want to take a moment to shout them out and thank them for serving our country and for doing things that a lot of us haven't done, and being willing to make the sacrifice. So, shout out to all the veterans that are watching. Shout out to all the veterans that are in this race. We know of 3 so far: Weimer, Wyckoff, and Wilson.
Absolutely do appreciate the service, and again, happy Veterans Day to all of you watching, as Weimer continues to try to make his move forward. Running in 15th currently, really having to pedal it behind a couple of other playoff drivers. Daniel Solo jumping down to the bottom. Christian Delgado, pardon me, not a baseball player, running in 13th. Charles Robertson just in front of him, as Joey Maines catches the wall in car number 42.
Just to show that baseball season never ends for our
Padres
pundit here, Greg Marchese.
I wish it did every now and again.
Got an incredible battle here. 6 cars all up under a blanket. You see the top and the bottom both being utilized. Nobody in the middle, and the 4-car sideways, Solo sideways. A lot of big sideways moments there coming up off of turn number 4.
And all of the minus the 62 of Johnson are playoff drivers, as Solo really still loose in that Exalta number 24.
Right rear is really upset, and now we see the 23 tried to get up to the top side, scrapes the wall coming up off of turn number 4. Still has some momentum there. Michael Gerby tried to take away the 17th place away from 16th place away from Danny Solo. He gets that job done. Now Cody McCorkle looks to follow his fellow Toyota driver up on the top side.
Cody McCorkle trying to fill that gap as well, trying to recover some ground that he lost earlier on, getting involved in the first caution of the night. Back up front, Linus Brostrom, about 0.4 of a second away from Joshua Grosso. Grosso about the same distance ahead of Fabricio Lamana here in your battle for the race lead.
Grosso has been quicker than both of those other drivers in the top 3, and I think he might be the fastest car on the track. Last time around, he ran a 23.97. Every other driver on the racetrack is in the 24-second bracket. And not to mention, Linus in front of him. It's a 24.13. It's almost a 10th quicker is the 54 as he moves to the outside, tries to cut down to the middle to get that momentum, cut down the distance. He's got himself within a 1/4 of a second of your race leader. Linus, might be time to worry, or at least look back.
Well, you only got 20 laps to go here before the end of the stage. Stage points will count here for these races. The only race where stage points will not matter is the final race of the year. Battle a little bit further behind, side by side, Angel Hernandez and last week's winner, Tristen Bailey. Bailey, again, not getting into the playoffs with the win last week because of the amount of races he has run did not fit the requirements to get into the playoffs. Right now, batting .500. 2 starts, 1 win. Not too bad for the driver of car number 99. He was in the 48. No, he was not in the 48 last week. He was in the 1 last week, I believe, right?
believe so. But we might need a stat expert.
Oh, he was at the 8, pardon me.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was.
He's got the 8 running right behind him right now. Alexander Arildson, your regular season points champion, battling with Peter Theriault, who is inside in the 67. Nice little side-by-side duel here between these two.
Looking to make it 3 wide with Tristen Bailey, 67 there of Peter Theriault. There's not enough space coming up out of these corners to keep that momentum for all of these guys. I know it's a wide racetrack, but it really seems to filter into 1 or 2 lanes that are coming up off of these corners.
There's Angel Hernandez there in the 45 on the bottom, trying to get around not just Fabricio Lamana in the 31, who's now starting to fall back a little bit, but also trying to find a way around Dominic Sawicki, series debutant, making this the 9th unique country that a driver will be representing this season with Poland. Very excited to have Sawicki here, even if it is only a sub role.
We love to see everybody around the world join our broadcast, try to get up into some door-to-door fights like we're seeing right now with this 3 wide battle. Still Arildson in the middle. We absolutely love to have everybody from all walks of this earth join us in whether it be sim racing media, iSNF, or any of these leagues. It's just so much fun to be able to connect with people all around the world.
Fabricio Lamana definitely falling back right now in that 31. As Lamana was up as high as second, hasn't led a lap. Got a great run, as you saw there, coming out of turn 1. Above that Kaulig team car number 13 of Jackson Carr down on the bottom. But right now, eyes will focus to the lead. We have 14 laps to go until the end of the first stage. Again, the admin cautions are in effect because it is a short track. However, the difference this week will be that we will have stage cautions, unlike what we had last week. And then, what was the other short track we did earlier on this season? That would have been Dover.
Yep, Dover. We did that instead of Martinsville.
Linus Brostrom right now, he's certainly under pressure, but there hasn't been an immediate threat from Joshua Grosso, meaning he hasn't yet peeked out to try to make a move. See the lap time between the two there. Brostrom losing out to that number 54. Times in red, laps where Brostrom is quicker. Times in green, laps where Grosso was quicker. That time, not a bad lap there from Brostrom. Picked up almost everything he lost to Grosso on the previous lap.
Just about. These guys are playing chess up front here with not many laps left to go in the stage.
Coming up on lap traffic in the form of Brian Treadwell on the number 50. It looks like he'll be the only one that they catch. Here's more points battling just outside the top 10, meaning just outside stage points. Joey Maines running in 11th. Daniel Solo in 12th, now 11th. Jeff Weimer in the 2, running in 13th.
Gaggle of cars here. We've got just under 9 laps to go here in the first stage. Danny Solo trying to get up in front of this group. As you see the 41 tag the wall there, that's Barkley. Solo's a bit of distance away from the stage points here. He'll try to get everything he can so he can set himself up in the best spot to potentially get stage points in stage 2.
He's only 1 spot off of stage points, but he's 1.2 seconds off of stage points, which is the bigger mountain to climb at the moment. as Joe Burgy looking to the inside of Joey Maines. Burgy came about a half a lap's worth of fuel from collecting his first win in ISNF last week.
Moment there between the 4 and the 41. Delgado and Barkley. Looked like Delgado almost put Barkley up into the wall. Now they're 3 wide coming up off of turn number 2. You've got the 6 machine of Britton down on the bottom trying to take advantage of both of these drivers, Joey Maines and the 4 of Christian Delgado. Delgado with the strong run up on the top side, though. He's going to stay nose to nose with the 6 car. Got 6 laps to go here in stage number 1.
And Maines has been falling back ever so slowly in that number 42. As William Britton, again, he would be the second driver if playoff driver had missed here today. Speaking of playoff drivers missing, Marcus Hagman still has not entered this race yet. Still has not yet turned a lap. Jimmy Johnson out of the race after 40. Michael Iskander, one of the playoff drivers, out of the race after lap 48. So 2 retirements here in this grid of 36 drivers that qualified for this race here tonight.
Robertson working to the outside of the 31 of Fabricio Lamana. Second place starter here. He's not had himself the first stage that he wants as he works down to the inside once again. Currently, he's down 7 spots, about to be 8 as he slides up the racetrack, and that might be Danny Solo's opportunity for stage points right there. 3 laps to go here in the stage.
Absolutely. Lamana has been falling back here on this longer run. It may also be exactly what Jeff Weimer needed for stage points as well, as Solo's going to look to the inside. He will collect that 10th spot, wheel car number 24. Lamana trying to charge back on the outside, but hits the wall, stunts the momentum. 24 into the points here for the stage. Linus Brostrom catching up to lap traffic, taking the final lap of the stage.
Also looks up to the outside. Brian Chu has had himself an incident. No caution's going to come out. We've got 1 lap to go here in stage number 1. Grosso sits 2/10 behind, a quarter second behind. Can he make one last run? He looks up to the top side. Going to try to cut it down to the inside, shorten up that run, but get as much momentum as possible. Nothing doing. The caution is out. That's going to be the end of the stage.
Yes, it will. So Linus Brostrom will win stage number 1 here tonight, leading every single lap thus far. As Liam, you had mentioned, Brian Chu had a bit of a moment a couple of laps ago, another playoff driver. And we will take a look and see what happened with Brian Chu battling with Delgado. Oh, pinch Delgado up a little bit, and into the wall goes the 11. Very nice of him to park right under our camera. That was very helpful. Thank you.
Just doing his best.
As the field works its way down pit road, we will step aside. Linus Brostrom takes the stage 1 victory for the playoff drivers. Stage 1 of the playoffs done and dusted. Linus Broström takes the 10-point haul. Joshua Grosso will line up next to him on the outside line. Angel Hernandez and Dominic Sawicki will make up the second row here for the start of stage number 2. Frank Marchese and Liam Irving taking you around Iowa Speedway here tonight, ending caution number 3. 2 for incident here tonight. Green flag back in the air. Broström picking up right where he left off at the end of stage 1.
What a strong restart there, and now Sawicki looks down to the inside for second place. He's going to be able to take that away from Grosso coming up. Oh, we got a spin down the back straightaway. Problems for the 67 of Peter Terrio. He got up into the wall, did not go all the way around, but that type of calamity. Oh, Fabricio now with the problem. I was just about to say that type of calamity on a restart could really throw a lot of guys for a loop.
Yeah, LaManna had a big slide. Not sure if he got help there, but the boy, who was it? Who was it that went? Oh, it was the 67 of Terrio. Yep, he's still stuck up at the wall.
But he's running. Yeah, he's stuck up on the wall. Car might be damaged. Trying to look at the toe link to see if it's bent, but it doesn't.
I think just trying to find a spot in line.
Wild moment there on cold tires out of the 67 of Peter Terrio. Now we look forward to Tristen Bailey trying to slide up on the 8 machine of Alex Arnoldson. Meanwhile, Jackson Carr sees that battle, says, I'm going to try to go to the top side, get around you both. Not quite able to through turns 1 and 2, put Tristen Bailey in front of both of them. Quick loose moment, though, is going to give the 13 the chance to race him on the outside.
Jackson Carr, we've seen the pace that Carr has. As Carr, Des Moines, Iowa native gets squeezed into the wall there by Alexander Arildson.
Like you said, a Des Moines, Iowa native. We've got a couple of hometown heroes here. Jackson Carr, obviously from Des Moines. Patty Moniak, a league regular from Cedar Rapids, and then Joshua Grosso from Red Wing, Minnesota, just a little bit north of the border. Border of Iowa and Minnesota, not Canada border. Yeah, just had to clarify that. As a Minnesotan, if I say north of the border, it means one thing.
Canadian.
Something else that means one thing is that rear bumper being full of the 54.
Big moment there out of the 14 of Sawicki, able to keep it together. Not quite able to hold on to that third position. Off the back of Linus Broström, you can hear he is having no trouble around this racetrack. Not feathering the throttle, just letting her roll.
Frank, tell you what, when you've got a good handling race car and you're in clean air, that is the absolute best feeling you could ever have in a race car, and you wish it would never end. That 54 machine is looking to try to make the pass up on the top side as you look at Franz Brettschneider in the 22 machine.
Yeah, Brettschneider just had a moment, I believe, with Fabricio LaManna. Let's take a look and see what happened here with these two. As, contact 31. Both of them into the grass. Boy, what a night this has turned into for LaManna. Second fastest in qualifying, was up in the top 5 almost the entirety of the first stage. And then the tires started to go away, and it has all fallen apart for that 31 as Daniel Solo looking to the inside of 3 wide.
It's a tough spot to make a pass here, coming up on a couple of really fast cars. But if you're going to dive down to the inside, turns 1 and 2 is the place to do it. 3 and 4, I feel it's a lot smoother than 1 and 2 is, so it's easier for these guys to get the run up on the top side or start up high, cut down to the inside. Turns 1 and 2, though, it's just got a massive trophy truck style bump.
Speaking of, you just saw the 33 go over a bump and sideways he goes. So Joey Burgy having to drop back in line as Daniel Solo goes to the bottom of Jackson Carr. Carr did not have a good run through 3 and 4 at all there, as Solo makes the pass fairly easily, but the momentum off is going to help the 13 mount an attack, as Jackson Carr looking for that 7th position back, not going to get it.
Oh, not quite. Now he's going to have to defend from that 33 machine of Joey Burgy. Joey has been relatively quick all day. He's up 17 spots. And I tell you what, we've got 3 different drivers up 17 spots in this race. They are all running nose to tail. Danny Solo up 17. Jackson Carr, he's also up 17. Joey Burgy up 17. Those are our 3, well, no, they're our second biggest movers of the
Not
race.
quite.
Chris Otto, however, after starting in last place, has just taken away 15th place. Go up 21 positions on the day. He's got Delgado looking down to his inside, trying a crossover. But that 48 car he's been cutting through traffic like a pizza slice.
Absolutely has been. As Christian Delgado looking to the inside, trying to maintain that 15th spot. Nothing doing just quite yet for that number 4, hanging back to the inside. We had mentioned that Michael Iskander was out of the race. That is no longer the case. We saw in the YouTube chat, Michael Iskander's internet went out. He has rejoined the race. He is currently running in the 34th position, 14 laps down. So the number 1 is back in the race. Marcus Hagman, however, still yet to make his appearance.
Really tough for Michael Iskander to get through without some attrition. He came into this playoff with 2,000 points. No extra stage points or winning points for that number 1 machine. He's going to have a tough task up in front of him, and he might have to hope for some attrition here.
Yeah, he was the last driver to make it in, was Michael Iskander. I believe. Now, unless Chris Otto. So the graphics are telling me one thing, but my eyes are telling me another. Is that Chris Otto's in the 48, all of his graphics at 17. My assumption would be that that was an oversight on my part. And Jerry Parker, who normally drives that 17, not being here, that to me would mean that right now Chris Van Maastricht is going to be in the playoffs come next week at Chicagoland.
I think it puts him in the playoffs for tonight, and he's got to try to get up in front of these guys. I think that's how it works. They wouldn't have him added in after an elimination.
True. Fair enough.
So you said Jerry Parker is officially not here. He has not started this race?
No, he is not here at all, is Jerry Parker. Everyone else appears to be here.
Well, I believe that puts the 38 into the playoff.
So Chris Van Maastricht gets into the playoffs. And again, Marcus Hagman has not turned a lap, but he is here tonight. And I do not see the 17 anywhere on the pylon. As Dominic Sawicki has the regular season champion Alexander Arildson for company on the bottom in that number 8. And Arildson will make the pass, move AA up to P6. Well, back to P6 as Sawicki comes back at him.
Sawicki, with that bottom lane into turns 1 and 2, really benefited on the entry. He's able to get up to about a car length coming up off of turn 2. Now, once again, the battle's going to be between the 8 and the 24. And I tell you what, Frank, it seems like it's 2004 at Talladega or something like that, with these guys battling as hard as they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of Talladega, I like the way they set these playoffs up, to be fair. If you look at the playoffs, you look at the tracks. Iowa, short track. Chicago, a little bit less than a mile and a half. Atlanta, mile and a half. Auto Club, 2 miles. Talladega, 2.5 miles. Tracks get progressively bigger, and then to close out the season at Kentucky.
Kentucky's going to be a fun one. We're anxiously looking forward to seeing who our Final Four are going to be as they get to Kentucky. But we've still got 140 laps. 140 laps to get through here tonight. As you see Tristen Bailey trying to get up in front of Angel Hernandez, unable to complete that pass. Little bit of door banging, getting up into the corner. Up the racetrack goes Hernandez over that terrible bump, and that's going to keep the 99 in position for now. But is the 45 going to be a little bit upset? Tristen Bailey not in the playoffs. The 45 of Angel Hernandez is. Hernandez goes down to the bottom of the racetrack, but not enough momentum to stick with it. Keep Tristen Bailey up in third place for now. But what a battle we're seeing out of these guys as the battle for the race lead. Well, yeah, I was saying starting to heat up, but Joshua Grosso lost a little bit of time just as I was saying that.
Yeah, and that was a little bit more than leaning on each other as Linus Brostrom, as Tristen Bailey gets through on Angel Hernandez. Linus Brostrom again.
Racing.
What was that? Yeah, exactly. As Linus Brostrom, by the way, he has not had any real pressure from Joshua Grosso. However, Grosso has been nailed to his back bumper the entirety of this run. He has not moved an inch.
A bit of time here and there, maybe lose a tenth or two in a lap, have a bad corner, but he gains it right back. But the important thing to notice here is how well Linus is using up the air in front of the 54. I know we hate to talk about that at a short track, but it was something that we talked about a lot at Phoenix in the Cup race with Ross Chastain, keeping the faster car of Ryan Blaney behind him until he overused his stuff. That might be where Linus is at. He knows he might not be as fast as the 54 right now. He knows he's got the clean air. He knows he's got the perfect track position right now. He might not be too worried.
It's the 9 of Daniel Holmer getting out of pit road. Holmer involved in a wreck earlier on, multiple laps down. Couple of incidents, single car incidents that we have stayed green through to keep you up to date on. This is just a couple of laps ago. Justin Barkley having a bit of a moment there in the 41. Again, subbing for Massal in that car. Trying to get onto pit road, loops it around, watch the barrels. And then Zach Bucher, who, remember, has already used his one fast repair here tonight in the 36. Trying to get down onto pit road. Don't do the same thing, please. Nope, he takes the access road.
Great for him there, but able to get through.
Back up here at the front. Yep.
Grosso looks up to the top. He goes over that big bump, and you can see how it slows him up coming up off of the corner, and now he's going to try to cut down. It is so tough to pass when the car in front of you is in clean air, taking away your line. Grosso knows he's got a fast 54 machine, a little bit loose out of the race leader. Grosso had to check up just a touch, couldn't take advantage.
So now the obvious question would be, well, if he's taking the high line, why wouldn't you just go to the bottom to try to get around him? Well, with the way the lines work around here, Liam, it's not that easy.
These corners are progressively banked. You get a little bit more and a little bit more the further up you go up up the racetrack. You can see these seams on the racetrack. They're all banked about a degree in terms of difference. So say you've got 15 on the bottom, you could have up to 18 on the top. See the 54 working right up above that top seam. That's going to give him a little bit more downforce and grip with the gravity through the banking, but that 3 car is just handling so well.
Also doesn't necessarily help as far as tire wear is concerned to try to yank the car down in the middle of the corner.
Oh, that too. You can definitely get a run coming up off of the corner if you dive down to the inside, but we're seeing Alex Aronson dive down to the inside on the start of the corner. Here comes Danny Solo trying that mid-corner drop down to the bottom. Didn't quite have enough space in the front area to to make it work, he had to slow down for Araldson.
Big mess of cars here, all for position. Sawicki, Arildson, solo car. And William Britton is here, by the way, as well in the number 6. He is a lap down in that Castrol GTX machine. So not for position, but very much in the fight.
Yeah, 1 lap down. If he gets a timely caution, he could either take the wave around or gets up front. In front of the lap cars, at least, get himself a free pass. Not entirely over, especially when you know you've got a caution coming in about 20 laps.
He is the first car not on the lead lap, by the way, is that number 6. Michael Gervey is about to change that in the 23 as he gets lapped by the race leaders. So now Michael Gervey, car number 23.
Grosso looks down to the inside for the race lead.
Joshua
Takes
Gross.
advantage of the lapped car. He's going to get nose-to-nose at the start-finish line, try to dive it in on the inside. And like you said, Frank, if he's taking away your line, why not try something else?
That's exactly what he is doing. He's going to take that bottom line. No one has led a green flag lap tonight that was not in that number 3 car. As now that stat is about to change as Joshua Grosso leads the lap. Linus Brostrom puts it in the wall. Joshua Grosso, new leader, 3rd different leader here tonight. Bob Wyckoff led a lap under caution.
Big pass. He stayed behind him, waited for the perfect opportunity, and that came when the lapped car of Michael Gervey came in between them. Now you see the 54 trying the top side as the 3 now changes up his line. He spent so much of that run trying to block the air on the 54, trying to block the line of that. And that's nothing new. I mean, we've talked about getting dirty air in front of cars since air has been a thing in racing. You know? Might be a little bit more of an effect on these cars.
Air wasn't a thing in racing?
Well, before Junior Johnson discovered the draft in 1960.
I'm being a smartass. That's air is involved in everything, sir.
Yeah, I know. I'm just.
There's the pass for the lead from Joshua Grosso.
First guy to figure out the slingshot.
Yes.
And that's where air racing started. Dale Earnhardt did it better than anybody else in his era, and now it's almost see.
Speaking of air racing, there's not a lot of free air here with Arildson, Solo, and Sawicki. A couple of lap cars in the mix. That number 6 of Britain. Now Gervey getting into the mix. That'll be happy for a happy sight for Britain.
Britton's loving that. He just made the pass for the free pass, and they got 4 wide getting into turn number 3. Still 3 wide coming up off. 2 cars for position. And look at that 6. William Britton back up into the free pass spot.
You saw how loose Sawicki got going into turn 3 as well. Trying not to turn across the 20, but also trying not to run over the 23. Sawicki starting to fall back a little bit here during this stage as well. Currently running in the 8th position. Jackson Carr for position behind him. Jeff Weimer in the number 2, currently running in the 10th spot. Great battle, but big slide out of the 14.
Yeah, Sawicki with a big slide coming up out of 2. Wasn't able to stay to the inside of the 20 of Robertson. Now he's got Solo to focus on in front of him. Robertson is not handling super well. He's got to be looking forward to that caution in about 15 laps. Or rather, Sawicki there in the
less than 10. Less than 10, 120.
Is it 120?
Stage break. Oh, no, 125. No, you're right.
Okay,
sorry.
yeah.
My bad.
Oh, big slide there on corner entry there. Is how we jump up to see. There was a big slide there on corner entry out of the 14. That 13 machine of Jackson Carr is all over him, putting the pressure on his rear bumper, but he's also utilizing the fact that that 14 car is not handling well. Look at the run he gets up off of 2. Is he going to dive it down? No, he's going to stay right behind him. Trying to push that 14 up to where he doesn't want to go, and he does. He gets up into the wall. Jackson Carr through the middle. Not quite enough to take both spots, but Jeff Weimer tried to take advantage of this battle up in front of him.
I was about to say, he's going to have to really pay attention now because Weimer is there. And with how much battling, around goes the 14 of Sawicki. He's going to somehow keep it straight. Wow.
That might go for save of the year right there. He was probably 60 degrees cocked sideways, got her locked down, and got her straightened out real quick. No overcorrections. Wow.
What a job by Dominic Sawicki. Watch him come off the wall. Side by side they're going to be into the wall, going down the front straightaway. Side by side through 1 and 2. 13 sliding up the racetrack into that left rear corner. What a job by car number 14.
Locked up, straightened out. No harm, no foul. I'm going to keep going.
Absolutely. Speaking of keeping going, it's exactly what Jeff Weimer did past both of them. Now Brian Chu in the mix. Same thing with Cody McCorkle. He's back there as well.
For Brian Chu, we saw him involved in an incident with, I believe, Christian Delgado earlier, where he got himself pointed the wrong direction. Strong recovery here out of Brian Chu, trying to get up into the top 10, get himself a couple of playoff points. He's up in 9th right now as he closes the door on Jackson Carr just behind him.
With Brian Chu getting into the top 10 and now possibly Cody McCorkle looking to the inside of Jackson Carr, 8 of the top 10 drivers are playoff drivers. The only 2 that are not, Tristen Bailey, last week's winner, and Jackson Carr running in 10th.
Well, we know Tristen Bailey's fast, and we know Jackson Carr is fast. It's a lot of trouble for some of these playoff drivers. Marcus Hagman still hasn't taken a lap yet. That's going to be a tough break for him. And I'm not sure how the rules work. He got into the session, but I'm not sure. If he doesn't take a lap, he technically didn't start. So that might put the 18th place driver into the playoff points for this race. That's something we'll have to double check on.
18th place driver in points, not in the race. 18th place in the race is that number 12 of Rhea Ferris. It's the highest up she's been all night, plus 4 spots from where she started. Having a silent night so far here for car number 12. 18th position in points is William Britton. There he is, mixing it up with the drivers in the top 5. But again, a lap down, and the first car a lap down right now is that number 6. As that's also about to change because Chris Van Maastricht, actually that did change already, Van Maastricht has been put a lap down. And because of all of this battling with lap cars, Joshua Grosso has pulled out to a 1.7 second lead, the biggest lead that anyone has had tonight.
Another thing to point out, you see that 31 up on the top side, he's got a lot of right front damage. Our second place starter on the day, Fabricio Lamana, not running how he wants to. He goes a second lap down. Unfortunate start to the race here as we are past halfway, about 5 laps away from the stage end, 4 laps away rather, for Joshua Grosso.
Joshua Grosso now 1.7 seconds clear of the number 3 and has 4 cars between himself and his nearest competitor. Tristen Bailey does not have that fortune. He only has 0.3 of a second and no cars between himself and Angel Hernandez. Now trying to put the 22.
Big sideways out of the 99. Tristen Bailey is going to go around.
And again, just before the stage break, and so does the 6 of William Britton. William Britton's around, Rosa Laszlo.
No caution yet. Everybody has gotten off the track with the exception of the 77, and now the caution comes out for that 77 up on the outside wall. Rosa Laszlo, nothing to be done there. That's going to bring out the caution and end stage number 2.
So Joshua Grosso is going to win stage 2. That was 3 completely different wrecks all happening in one corner. First of all, let's take a look and see Rosa Laszlo. What happened to the 77? He had just gone a lap down. Ooh, 15 runs him right over. Into the fence he goes. There's the 99 down at the bottom of the screen. And then there's the 6 of William Britton getting pushed around by Charles Robertson. I mean, you want to talk about chaos in short order. That's what you just got here. Watch the 15 on the 77. There's the initial incident. Wreck number 2. There that is. And following shortly, your trio. Boy, what a way to end stage number 2. Joshua Grosso, your stage winner. We'll take a break. Be right back. You are watching the Hawkeye 200 here from Iowa Speedway. Back here at the Iowa Speedway, getting set to begin stage number 3 and the final run to the finish. We will have 101 laps to go when we go green. The two drivers on the front row are the two drivers that have won the two stages. Linus Broström led the first about 90 laps of this race before Joshua Grosso took the lead. Green flag back in the air. Grosso gets a great start. Now to the inside goes Angel Hernandez, looking for that second spot on Linus Broström.
Trying to take it away, but the outside lane on the restart is prevalent. Linus stays strong up on the top side. Look at that 45. Dive it down in. We've got three wide action. Tristen Bailey sliding up into Tristan Delgado. Or not, Tristan. Tristan and Christian. Charles Robertson into the wall.
I thought I saw Robertson get loose through 3 and 4, sending him back down the line. But he certainly got a little bit of a check there. So Robertson is going to fall all the way back to 16th here after this restart. Linus Broström now starting to see the other end of what he's been doing to drivers all race. Now having to fight with Angel Hernandez, Brian Chu up there as well. Daniel Solo, top 5 are all playoff drivers. You see there on the timing and scoring tower, drivers highlighted in gold are playoff drivers. Brian Chu on the bottom trying to put the attack on Angel Hernandez, also trying to maybe defend a little bit from Daniel Solo, who's out in the middle. Solo finally has that 24 working the way he wants to. Both Solo and Carr, well, now it's just Solo, plus 19 spots here in this race. Still, though, not the biggest mover. That would go to Casey Tomlinson in the number 7, who occupies now the 12th position. He is plus 23 here tonight in that number 7 Chevrolet.
Fantastic drive here, but look down to the bottom. There goes the 67. Obviously a lap car, that's Peter Terrio. Not going to be the thing that the 7 car wants to see, though, if you're Casey Tomlinson. Lap car getting down to your inside. You've got cars trying to chase you down. What a block there, getting down into the corner.
Certainly
Trying to race down Delgado.
Certainly Terrio. Right now, the first driver not on the lead lap. He's got a second over Chris Smith. 19 cars on the lead lap at the moment. Marcus Hagman has not started this race yet. He was away at another obligation. Did log into the session. Big wiggle out of the number 7. Only loses track position. As Daniel Solo battling side by side with Alexander Arilson. Jimmy Johnson out of the race. Brian Treadwell out of the race. Zach Buchner, Justin Barkley, Chris Otto, all out of this race.
And Marcus Hagman still has not put down a lap. Not sure what that means in terms of the playoffs here, but up front it remains the same. Joshua Grosso over Linus Broström, Angel Hernandez, Alex Haraldson, Brian Chu. Top 5 all playoff drivers. Danny Solo getting around Chu now on the inside, trying to slide up in front of him. Is he going to have enough? As we watch on the back bumper here of Alex Haraldson, plenty of space for the 24 to climb up the racetrack to take away that position. Top 6 are all playoff drivers. Cody McCorkle, another playoff driver, in 10th, which puts 7 of our top 10 as drivers who are racing for a championship here towards the end of the calendar year.
Brian Chu now trying to fend off Dominic Sawicki, not able to, so moves Sawicki up into the 7th position. Joshua Grosso running away from the field, but he also has Linus Broström in close company. Angel Hernandez is there as well. Hernandez about a second or so behind the top pairing. But Hernandez clearly has shown he has the 3rd quickest car in this race here tonight, as these two have been fighting for supremacy. But again, it's not always the driver with the fastest car that takes the win. Sometimes you just have to be in the right spot at the right time.
Yeah, that is absolutely the case. And Lena's trying to figure out if the right spot at the right time is the bottom side of this racetrack. Big time dive into 3 and 4 that last time around. Trying it in 1 and 2, not quite as much momentum gained here coming up off the corner. We'll see as he drives it into 3 and 4. Grosso holds on to the lead, but once again, that 3 car dives it down to the inside, trying to get as close as he possibly can. Maybe get a little bit of a nose to the bumper or a quarter to quarter. Not in terms of contact with the quarter to quarter, but, you know, a little airplay.
This is not indicative of what we had mentioned before of, well, if he's running the outside, go to the inside. Linus Brostrom has been pretty consistent running that bottom line here tonight, and Joshua Grosso has been pretty consistent running the top. So these two currently just running their lanes, almost identical lap times. As there you see the top 5 in frame there, a little bit further behind. That's Tristen Bailey trying to work his way back forward as he gets past Brian Chu in the number 11. Joey Maines right now just outside of the top 10. Christian Delgado right in front of him. Stage points no longer on offer this evening. Stage 1 went to Linus Brostrom. Stage 2 went to Joshua Grosso. Black and white checkered flag is the only thing that's left as Cody McCorkle has Jackson Carr to the inside. McCorkle now falls to the last spot in the top 10.
These guys battling here, and of course, don't have a stage break coming up. This is straight through to the end. Drivers absolutely giving it everything they've got. Well, we've got a fuel limit of 60.
Jackson Carr right now behind Peter Terrio in the 67. Terrio still the first car, not on the lead lap. Had 3 cautions for incident here tonight. The last of the 3 was a lap or 2 before the end of the second stage. As a couple of guys running into trouble at the end of both stages, as now here comes Alexander Arilson looking to the inside of Angel Hernandez. Daniel Solo there as well. Arilson not quite close enough.
To the inside, though, Arilton tries it once again.
Arilson finding about as much luck on that bottom as Joshua Grosso is, and it's an interesting little fight. 45 and 54 versus 2 RCR cars. RCR on the bottom. Gibbs 2311 on the outside. RCR not having fun down on the bottom.
The bottom side is not a whole heck of a lot of fun here, but battle for the lead. Been about a quarter second. We're seeing the same thing that we saw before. Grosso was super close to the 3 throughout that second stage. Finally made the pass. Are we going to see the same thing here as Linus all the way to the bottom once again, trying to get closer and closer to the race leader? And it seems to be working through 3 and 4. It's just not doing what he wants it to through turns 1 and 2.
Also goes to show that we saw that almost 2-second gap that Grosso had to Brostrom, and a lot of that was because of traffic and how the 54 was able to maneuver through traffic. The 3 not so much. As Hernandez and Arilson side by side coming out of turn 4. Outside line is going to give Hernandez the nod. Arilson down on that bottom just can't power up off the corner the way the 45 can, but he's also not doing it bad enough where he has to slide in line behind him.
Oh, Arilson all the way down to the bottom. A big run up on the top. That 8 car was almost clear, but look at how much speed the 45 was able to get through up on the top side. These tires are starting to wear down. These guys are going to start to have to change up their lines, and I wonder if that 8 car might have used up all the bottom side that he can for the time being.
It's been about 30 laps that we've run here since the last pit stop. Say about 27 green flag laps. Pit stop is going to be expected here in this stage, as Ariltson given Angel Hernandez everything he could possibly handle right now and more, just does have it cleared, but he's not. Oh, he is going to be able to get the slide job on. And Alexander Ariltson up into third, but now watch for the fight. Hernandez down to the bottom.
Hernandez trying to take this position back. Doesn't seem to have the run coming up off of turn number 2. He stays up to the top as Ariltson goes down to the bottom. And just as I was saying, he might have used up all of his stuff there down there. Gets the job done, and he's starting to put time on the 45. Speaking of the bottom side working, another RCR car sitting up in second place is making it work. He's getting closer and closer to the back bumper of Grosso, coming up off of turn number 2. Just a car length separate these two. Big dive down to the inside, not as big as we've seen before. Now he cuts all the way down to the bottom, trying to get side by side with the race leader.
Has been able to get to his door. Unfortunately, has not been able to get past as Joshua Grosso. As Linus Brostrom. Looking to put Chris Van Maastricht another lap down, and Rhea Ferris her first lap down. So they're coming up on. I believe that was Bob Wyckoff that just came down pit road.
Rhea Ferris going a lap down. That is significant for her because she's racing with a couple of other drivers here for this to get out of the bottom 4. The bottom 5 came in with 2,000 points, all tied. So it essentially became a race between them. Which one of us can finish better? That's going to be who can make it through, provided there's no other incidents for drivers in front of you. But
now, of the bottom 4, she is not the first of the bottom 4 in this race. Now we're assuming that Chris Van Maastricht is in the playoffs because Jerry Parker in the 17 is not here. So that bumped Van Maastricht into the top 16. He is the first of the bottom playoff runners here. Daniel Holmer, 6 laps down. Michael Iskander, who you just saw get put another lap down, is third. Marcus Hagman, who has not yet turned a lap after jumping into the session, and at this point, the highest he is going to be able to get is just about 34th, so he's only going to gain 2 spots at this point. He is the lowest running of the playoff drivers. So Rhea Ferris, currently 12th of the 16 playoff drivers in this race.
This Rostrom tagged the wall coming up out of turn number 2 as these guys are trying to get around Rhea Ferris. Doesn't seem to have hurt him too much, but lost him a couple tenths coming up off of turn number 2. Both drivers had to take a line that they weren't necessarily familiar with, try to get around that 12 machine, but looks like Linus getting right back up to the back bumper here. We'll see.
See on the track map here, it is all clean air right now for car 54 and car number 3. Just a little bit more than a quarter of a racetrack between the two. Between the front of the field here and the back of the field. Car number 15 currently now. A little bit further back, Daniel Solo, Tristen Bailey, Peter Terrio. Only the 99 and 24 are currently for position. Big wiggle out of Solo.
Wiggled there, but was able to stay nose to nose with that 99 of Tristen Bailey. Oh, a little bit of contact between the 67 Peter Terrio and Tristen. Good recovery by Tristen to get not even really look loose there. It seemed like he was anticipating that contact. Now Tristen gets a little bit loose coming up through 3 and 4, and I think that's going to be the trend that we see up until this final pit stop comes.
CO battle for the race lead here side by side. Linus Brostrom has nosed out ahead of Joshua Grosso. Doesn't quite have him clear on entry. Grosso on the high side. Linus Brostrom back to the race lead as that number 3 gets to the lead for the first time in a good 60 laps or so.
He lost the lead towards the end of stage number 2, and through this first half of stage 3, 54 seemed to be the car to beat, but these guys have both played each other about the same game. And I tell you what, Rhea Ferris, she's not really fallen off of that 54 machine. I wonder how far is this 3 going to be able to take it. Is clean air potentially not as good as you expect it to be at a track like Iowa?
You got to worry about the tires as well. They have a lot of clean air in front, but around here it is definitely tire wear. We have just over 50 laps to go here from Iowa Speedway. Linus Brostrom has just retaken the race lead, working lap 169 of 230, race number 1 here in the playoffs for iSNF. We'll be right back.
Got it. Let me know.
Back here at Iowa Speedway, the Hawkeye 200. A little bit of an extended break. Here's a couple of behind-the-scenes things we were trying to sort out as Linus Brostrom gets a great restart. And Alexander Ariltson able to follow through. Joshua Grosso left behind on that outside line as the caution came out after an incident between Bob Wyckoff and William Britton down the backstretch.
You saw the replay on our side-by-side camera. And now as we go live, we've got RCR 1 and 2. Danny Solo cuts in front of the 45. Now Tristen Bailey moves down to the inside of that 45 machine. Angel Hernandez losing a couple spots here on this restart. Tristen Bailey trying to follow Danny Solo through.
Everybody came in and took tires. Cody McCorkle had a big wiggle, had to chase it down the racetrack coming out of turn 2. As McCorkle is going to lose a couple of spots. Joey Maines, playoff driver, just behind, trying to get back into the top 10. Big slide there out of the 7. And Casey Tomlinson.
Into Daniel Homer, he goes hard into the wall, goes to 7, down the racetrack. Homer's around. The caution is coming out.
Daniel Homer, an innocent bystander, as the 7 got loose going into turn 1. Let's take a look and see. Oh, we got hit by the 15. Then just trying to collect it. Had nowhere to go. From onboard, Daniel Homer. There's the contact. See the 2 cars sliding, and then... Well, it's just racing, isn't it? Sometimes you could do everything right and still end up in the wrong.
Absolutely part of it. You know, you can sit here and try to play your recovery game. You work through the field a little bit, and something happens in front of you at a short track. And things happen so fast at a track less than a mile. You just don't have the time to recover or react.
So it'll be Linus Brostrom and Alexander Ariltson. And we saw this a couple of weeks ago with the SCL Cup Series when they were here on Monday. Outside line getting horrific restarts. Now, it's already difficult enough to restart on the outside line because it's hard to see. But it seems like here recently we've been seeing not just this league, but all leagues that we've broadcasted, especially Wednesday night with the Moonshiners, really bad restarts all the way around from that outside lane.
Super tough lane to restart from, especially when the leader has absolute control. Once he gets into the restart zone, you're in a guessing game already. That outside line just doesn't have the grip, which is kind of weird because most of these guys run right up next to the wall down the front straightaway. You'd think it laid down enough rubber. The inside lane has been dominant all night, and as we have less than 50 to go, Linus Brostrom, Alex Ariltson, RCR cars up front, got to be feeling really good about their chances here.
It also doesn't help that, when you're on the outside line, sure, you get the grip on the restart, but that's after a lap of pacing up in the marbles. So it's, while you're on the clean line for the restart, you're not on the clean line for the rest of the lap. As it will be Brostrom and Ariltson on the front row here for this restart. Joshua Grosso is as far back on a restart as he has been since the opening restart when he started on the inside of the third row in 5th. Daniel Solo, who is the highest he has been tonight, in 4th. Tristen Bailey 5th. Angel Hernandez, who's also about as low as he's been tonight, in 6th. Jackson Carr 7th. Brian Chu 8th. Christian Delgado 9th. And Cody McCorkle was able to stay in front of Joey Maines. He is in 10th. Playoff drivers outside of the top 10. Joey Maines 11th. Jeff Weimer in 12th. 13th goes to Charles Robertson. Rhea Ferris got her lap back on this this past caution with the wave around. She's in 16th. Chris Van Maastricht is in 22nd. Daniel Holmer 25th. Michael Iskander 27th. And Marcus Hagman joined but did not start this race.
Oh, we're doubled up here, ready for the restart, and see the outside lane now be taken by the 3 car. Linus Brostrom taking the outside lane over his teammate. He's got Danny Solo behind him. This is the best Danny Solo has been all day, and he is currently our biggest mover, up 21 spots. Going to see what we've got here coming up on the restart.
This is great gamesmanship, by the way, from Linus Brostrom, knowing whichever line he restarts in is going to get the better jump, keeping Joshua Grosso at bay, and that's exactly what happens as Grosso does not get a good restart behind a
Tristen Bailey
Rilson.
down to the bottom.
Behind a Rilson who
way.
did not get a good restart, as
Oh,
Bailey's going to go around
Bailey.
into
Hard
the
into
wall.
the inside wall, right at the angled point of the inside wall. That's where the safety trucks come out. There's an awkward angle there and a tough hit there out of Tristen Bailey. We move back to the front though. Teammates battling for the race lead.
Single car spin, no caution. 9 of the top 10 cars are playoff cars. And again, that offline restart for Joshua Grosso and the caution is now going to come out. This one, I believe, for the 21 of Chris Smith.
Chris Smith down on the inside lane there. Seems to have gotten turned around.
He was right at the exit of pit road. What happened with Smith? Oh, he gets run over by the 9. 7 gets involved in it as well. That seemed a bit rough from Daniel Holmer. Let's jump on board with Holmer here. Boy, he either was so focused on trying to get around Bob Wyckoff that he didn't realize the corner was coming up. He was on gas. Only got off it before he got into the 21. Big break, by the way, for Tristen Bailey, this caution coming out when it did.
Yeah, able to come in, take that fasty if he hasn't already, and if not, or if he has, rather, get that damage looked at. Oh, buddy, there's the fasty. 4 tires. We're going to get back out on this abrasive racetrack and hopefully have a little bit of an advantage.
It's Chris Van Maastricht getting back on the lead lap. So now 21 drivers no longer on the lead lap, and Van Maastricht in the playoffs now, by virtue of the 17 of Jerry Parker not being here tonight. Van Maastricht, the first driver out of the playoffs on points, so he was the first one in. Field's going to remain more or less the same. Joshua Grosso goes down to 4th on that restart. And again, I want to go back to that restart. Like I said, we've been seeing the inside line get such a good jump, or whichever line the leader is in gets such a good jump that usually helps the third place car out on the restart. Linus Brostrom, the control car, did not want to give Joshua Grosso that benefit. So what happens on the restart? He gets slowed down behind the slow restart of Alex Arielson. Solo gets the benefit of the leader's line restart. And then Grosso goes back to fourth. So gamesmanship there from the number 3.
See if it's the same way. Which lane is that 3 car going to choose? He can clearly get an advantage no matter where he starts. Is he going to give the inside lane to his teammate once again and Joshua Grosso behind him, or would he rather Danny Solo behind him?
Grosso is going to be on the outside of row 2. And again, the reason why we point Grosso out is because he's been the only one that's really been able to keep pace with Linus tonight.
That is true. I mean, this last restart, it was a short time. The 8 definitely showed that he was able to stick around with them, and we haven't seen him up front a whole heck of a lot throughout the course of the day. Started in the 18th position. He's up 16 spots throughout the course of the day from where he started. Leader takes the inside this time, though. He wants Danny Solo behind him for whatever reason. I wonder if he's thinking that with the 54 being his closest competitor throughout the first half of this race, he would rather him get somebody in front of him rather than having the leader in front of him.
Absolutely. So once again, Solo keeping an eye behind him as well as on what he is doing. Mentioned Alexander Arielson up here as high as he has been. Alexander Arielson finishing 6th at Dover, did not participate last week with his spot in the playoffs already locked up. His spot as the regular season champion already locked up. Did not run Phoenix, but now back here running in the top 5 here at Iowa.
Green flag back in the air. Another strong restart out of Linus. Danny Solo gets to the inside of Alex Aronson, but is he going to be able to complete that pass? No. The 8 car gets down to the bottom. Grosso looking up to the top side. Is he going to have enough to stay up top? Yes, he does. He's up side by side looking for 3rd place with Danny Solo.
It's Joshua Grosso's preferred line on that high side. Top 10 all playoff drivers as Sawicki there in the number 14 gets back into 11th. It was the top 11 for a moment. We're all playoff drivers as Grosso just does get the move done.
Big time run up on the top side. The 24, Danny Solo, got a little bit loose. He's going to try it again on the inside, but not going to have enough. Is he going to get the wall? Not quite. But Danny Solo in 3rd place, trying to chase down Alex Aronson as we have a pack of cars, a big old gaggle right here.
14 is in a place of one of these things is not like the other. He has Christian Delgado, Joey
big
Maines.
Sideways out of the 42.
Boy.
Sorry to interrupt you there, but Joey Maines had the entry of a lifetime. Sideways again, gets into the 11.
How did you not go nose first into that wall?
I don't know, Matt. I thought it was absolutely going to be chewing on the outside wall. Pun was intended there as into the outside wall. Once again goes Joey Maines, losing a tremendous amount of spots.
Yeah, Maines is having a time of it right now. That Kego Harbor, Michigan native in the number 42. And he is he's having a difficult old time of it right now. As the 34 goes sideways, it's Shane Griffin able to keep it straight. Almost hit there by the 6.
Almost into the wall was Rhea Ferris there.
Oh, around goes the 34 now.
Yeah, that moment there with Rhea Ferris, the 6 of Britain, and the 34 was getting sketchy there. Bad time to look away.
There's
right as
Rhea
that happened there.
Front end damage on the 12. Let's take a look and see here what happened. Saw they were 3 wide. Oh, the 6 trying to give the 12 room. Didn't realize the 34 was there. That will be our 7th caution for incident, our 8th overall. Of course, the one non-incident caution being the stage 1 caution.
And that was potentially for a cause. Incident right there on the last lap. Big time move there by Danny Solo to stay out. Wow.
Solo waited there about as long as he possibly could have before bailing out of the pit. So put
Almost
Joshua
as close to the barrels
Grosso.
as Kurt Busch in 2004 right there.
Joshua Grosso will now be on almost 30 lap fresher tires than the race leaders. And he'll only be in 10th. Let's take a ride on board Daniel Solo. Let's see what a fake out here at Iowa looks like.
Close from where we were watching, but
Ah,
oh, buddy.
looked
Maybe not as
closer from
close
where
as
we
I
were.
thought.
Yeah.
You know, a really late call to stay out there and remain in 3rd place behind the RCR teammates, 2 fellow Chevy drivers. Now you've got Jeff Weimer, veteran here on Veterans Day. We'll give him another shout out for serving our country, and also running in 4th place right now. He's got himself a shot to win this race. What better day, or what better way to end off this Veterans Day than with a checkered flag?
So top 3 stay out. All Chevrolets, all Swedes. Linus Brostrom, Alexander Arilton, Danny Solo, Jeff Weimer, Charles Robertson, Tristen Bailey, Franz Bretschneider, Brandon Hughes, and Chris Van Maastricht all deciding to stay out. Bailey, Hughes, Bretschneider, and Van Maastricht all came down pit road. Bailey on lap 187, Hughes and Bretschneider on 180, Van Maastricht on 179. Linus Brostrom and the remainder of the top 5 all came in on lap 172. Fresh tires and full fuel are running in 10th. Grosso, Hernandez, Delgado, Sawicki, Chu, and McCorkle 10th to 15th.
Just under 30 laps to go in this race. Things definitely about to start heating up here. The iRacing Sunday Night Fever here, or Saturday Night Fever, rather. So, a heck of a show here is Joshua Grosso, first car on fresh tires. Linus Brostrom is your race leader. Hasn't made a pit stop since lap 172.
Second round of the playoffs coming up. Next week, it'll be the Windy City 200 from the Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet, Illinois, 134 laps. This will be the longest race, lap count-wise, the remainder of the season. Chicagoland, Atlanta, and Kentucky will all be 134 laps. Auto Club and Talladega will just barely see the century mark at 100. Longest race mile-wise will be that Talladega race at 66 miles, longer than any other race remaining on the schedule.
It'll be a big-time mental chess game for all of these drivers to keep themselves in the pack. Maybe try to get themselves some stage points for the playoffs. It's going to be a tough ask as the 3 It's on the outside once again. Pace car makes a hard left turn into the Geico restart zone, and a strong restart out of your race leader, Linus Brostrom, once again. Teammate Alex Aronson on the inside gets away in second place by about a car length and a half. Jeff Weimer finding up on the top side over Danny Solo, but Tristen Bailey coming up here trying to play spoiler.
Again, Tristen Bailey is on fresher tires, not the freshest, in that number 99, subbing in for Emily Figrell. Ooh, almost contact between the 2 and the 20 as the 22 of Brett Schneider gets swallowed up by the 54, the 45, and the 14.
And up on the top side, trying to make everything he can happen on these first couple of laps. Almost a little bit of contact there between Angel Hernandez and Dominic Sawicki coming up off of turn number 2. We've got 26 laps to go as they cross the start-finish line this time. We've got ourselves a battle for third place as Tristen Bailey moves down to the inside of Solo.
Yep, Daniel Solo. Boy, big jump there. You saw Tristen Bailey's car jump over the bump in turns 1 and 2. Goes from a sure pass to now fighting on the opposite line from what he was battling Solo the last lap. And now Bailey on 15-lap fresher tires will take over the spot as Weimer and Robertson now battle for 5th. Sideways, Sawicki once again makes a big save in 14.
Up the racetrack, almost in front of the 38 machine of Chris Van Maastricht. He's able to get back onto the racetrack up to pace. How much damage was done to those tires, though, as you see the 21 look up to his outside, not quite able to make something happen.
Also happened to front's Brett Schneider as well in the 22. Let's take a look. He got hit by the 14.
A little bit of contact and hard into the wall goes the 45 of Angel Hernandez. That was a
wreck.
Incident that kind of ended quickly.
Yeah, that was a wreck that mostly happened. It didn't happen, but it almost did, as there's Casey Tomlinson with no front end on his car down on the bottom.
Going to get away through and okay as you see them get by. 7 cars not having the race he wanted. Let's take a look to see what happened.
Here's what happened with Tomlinson. Looks like by himself. Gets loose off of 2, tries to catch it.
Tony McCorkle with a problem.
Cody McCorkle, playoff driver. Oh, the 2 of Jeff Weimer as well.
Oh,
up in the outside fence.
Got front end damage for the 2 of Jeff Weimer. Racing up front, he was.
In the top 5 when last we left him. As though it looked like he got out of sorts on his own. Ooh, catches Tristen Bailey, and that's brutal. Comes to a dead stop once he hits that wall. We'll go back and show it again, but he comes to a halt.
Definitely a lot to unpack here. Looks like the 2 cars sideways, gets onto the apron, going to overcorrect it, and clips Tristen Bailey. Oh, wow. Somebody else clipped him, too.
iRacing had I think Angel Hernandez may have missed it.
I think Angel Hernandez might have been. Let's ride on board with Angel Hernandez for that and see if he was the car that got into the 2 there up on the top, because I know he had some damage.
Let's see the 45 of Hernandez. Hernandez is in, by the way. It's Angel up the track. Oh, no, it looks like he just missed him. Yeah, no, he just missed everything.
What a drive there by the 45. It looked like somebody clipped that too. Might not have been the 45, but a similar colored race car.
iRacing used to have a big problem with accidents that would effectively reach out and grab your car to a halt, get stuck in the fence. Wasn't quite that, but boy, that too came to a dead stop after he caught that outside wall.
That's always tough to see, and it's tough to see in front of you as a driver. You have no time to react, especially at a track like this where you're coming up out of the corner and it's sliding you up the racetrack. It's almost like the racetrack is funneling you into one lane, and then you've got to react when you see that crash happening in front of you.
19 laps to go here at Iowa. Linus Broström, Alex Arilton, Danny Solo, and Charles Robertson, your top 4, came into pit on lap 172. Joshua Grosso, who has been the only car tonight that has been able to match the 3, is in 5th on 26-lap fresher tires.
It's going to be a tough one for the Minnesotan, but it's not going to be impossible. Tell you what, man, you don't want to open squeeze your way past right here. You want to just be aggressive. You want to get out there. That 3 car is going to be tough to beat, though. Linus has been so strong all race. Got passed by the 54 earlier, but was able to make another green flag pass for the race lead. And these two are the only people that we have seen make a green flag pass for the lead. Definitely comes down to strategy to a certain point, because it ended up happening on the long run for both of these guys, but we'll see what they've got on the short run. 18 laps to go. Like you said, 26 lap fresher tires here for this 54. Also for the 4 of Christian Delgado, the 42, Joey Maines, Brian Chu, Dominic Sawicki. Those guys also have taken fresher tires. See what we got, though. A couple of, a trio of Swedes up front. Alex Arilton, Linus Broström, and Danny Solo. Obviously, that wasn't the order, but Linus leading. A couple of Swedes. 3 Swedes, actually, lead over 7 Americans. And we've got our Polish driver, Dominic Sawicki. Another American of Van Maastricht.
It's definitely a wide range. Again, 9 different nations represented here in this series.
Mexico, Brazil, other ones to bring up.
U.S., Canada, Sweden, Portugal, Hungary, Poland, Mexico, Brazil, and Norway, all represented here in the iSNF Cup Series. We get set to go. 16 laps to go before we find out who will make it into the round of 12. Green flag is in the air. Another great start for Linus Broström. Backs up the inside line, and Arilton about a half a second off.
The outside lane definitely struggled up on that restart. Here comes the 54 working to the inside. The Toyota teammate there in the 20, Charles Robertson. You see the fresher tires working. Able to almost get himself clear. Here comes Robertson up on the top side. Meanwhile, your top 3 remains Linus Broström, Alex Arilton, Danny Solo, with a gaggle of cars out back. Look to the 15 going up into the wall. That's Brandon Hughes. He's going to lose a ton of positions and potentially split up this pack.
Joshua Grosso, the biggest question I think for him is going to be, will he have enough time, not just to get past Daniel Solo or Arilton, but to catch up and pass Linus Broström. 14 laps to go. He's already gotten Arilton. Or gotten Solo, pardon.
Get up to the top 3. A little bit of contact coming up off of turn number 4, or 2 rather. Here comes Solo back to the inside as Grosso works the outside as he has so well all night. Almost contact coming up off of turn number 4 with the 24 of Danny Solo. He took absolutely everything he could coming up out of that corner, but didn't quite have enough for the 54.
Not quite much he could have done on 26-lap older tires, but still just annoy him enough and give him a little bit less time to get up to that 3. As now Alexander Arilton probably knows he can't win. Now the game is going to be to play a rear gunner for that number 3. Grosso thought about going to the inside. Arilton had it scouted.
He definitely had that scouted, but he's too close now. Where are you going to go The 8 car runs his own line down to the inside. Still thinks he's close enough to maybe make a shot at the 3 car, and he is absolutely correct within 3/10. Meanwhile, here comes the 54 down to the inside. Another big block out of the 8. Grosso has to change up his line.
It was a huge block from Alexander Rilson, as I said, playing rear gunner, but Grosso does not let that bother him. Gets to the outside line down the back. Will he get the run coming off of turn 4? Rilson's going to close the door. Grosso saw it coming. To the bottom goes number 54. Rilson back to third. Grosso now has Brostrom in his sights with 10 to go.
Laps remaining, and what a masterful job to get around the 8, as now he's under fire from Danny Solo. Solo moves up into the 3rd position, coming up off of turn number 4. Like you said, now we have 9 laps to go to decide a race winner, and the 26-lap pressure tires have got to be a huge advantage out of that 54 Toyota Camry.
Linus Brostrom took the win at Dover in that number 3. Joshua Grosso has not seen victory lane since Watkins Glen back on August 19th, so it's been a little while. And that is
down to the end for the race lead, potentially a little bit of contact. He's going to try to slide up the racetrack a little bit. Here comes Linus Brostrom up on the top side. He's got the run, but the 54 with pressure tires, caution comes out.
It's going to come out for the 12 of Rhea Ferris, who was stuck nose first in the outside wall.
And a tough break for Rhea Ferris, who was one of those drivers who came in here in the bottom 5 with 2,000 points. And another big slide there. That car is absolutely messed up in terms of the right rear handling. Oh no, Daniel Homer! And Britton gets involved in that as well. Britton was trying to avoid, I believe, Joey Maines, or no, that was Van Maastricht.
Yeah, so a couple of different deals going on here. As we'll see, this is what happened here with Ferris. Coming through 3 and 4, just loses the back end. Stopped right on the racing line, which is why the caution comes out here. Still stuck up there. Can't quite get it going again. Baps the wall again.
Where the caution comes out.
No, it's been out. Now she's gotten a lap down. Here comes Daniel Homer coming in. Homer is going to get hit by the 12 and then the 38 of Van Maastricht, trying to avoid what was happening in front of him. Gets turned by the 6. So that's about as interesting as it gets. So now it'll be Brostrom and Grosso side by side here on this restart. Grosso did not get out in front of Brostrom. They were side by side, but the 54 did not clear him or did not nose ahead before the caution came out. As I believe Britton's having some more issues here in the 6. He's stopped on the back. Unless Britton is...
I'm not sure what he's got going on here.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Giving up some positions for a penalty sort of reason, or might be away from the keyboard, but this is definitely a weird time. Now he's moving, so looks like it's a let everyone go type of situation.
Yeah, I think I can't see... honestly, why that would be a penalty, because it was Van Maastricht trying to avoid what happened that came across the 6.
Is
But
he
the,
potentially past his 21 incident points limit?
that could be it.
Otherwise, I don't know what the penalty would be for. I mean, you could say maybe ARCA braking, but
Did
that was
he?
a
I
tough call. I don't know.
I wouldn't
that
fault
was
him for
wrong there.
anything that happened there. Unless he somehow got a lap ahead of where he was supposed to be some way. That's the only thing I could think of as to why he would have sat there and let the field go by. Because my broadcast partner just says, Mike, fall over. So we will have 4 laps to go, or 3 to go. And it will be a natural green-white checkered. So we have not dipped into our 3 green-white checkers here. This is going to be a natural green-white checkered. Linus Broström, who has had the dominant car all day long, in control. Joshua Grosso on 26-lap fresher tires. Who's been the only one that's been able to match the 3.
He's going to have 2 laps to get it done. He's clearly got the fresher tires, and he was quicker racing side by side with the race leader right before that caution came out. However, the 3 car has been the king of restarts all night. Every single time he's restarted, he's gotten himself a car length, 2 car lengths, maybe even 3 getting up into the first quarter. Grosso's not going to have an easy chance as the pace car makes that hard left turn. Green flag in the air. The 3 car with the strong restart once again. Alex Aronson moves down to the inside. Here comes Danny Solo to the inside.
Rieldson got a very, very good jump. I'm sure his teammate gave him the Iggy as to when he was going.
Oh, big crash!
That was hard into the wall, Charles Robertson.
Caution comes out, and that's the big one at the short track of Iowa.
And that will be our first green-white checkered attempt now.
Now we've got questions. We had a big crash here on the back straightaway. That's going to take a lot of drivers out of here, potentially a lot of playoff drivers. But as it stands, Joshua Grosso in 3rd place behind teammates Broström and Rieldson in the RCR cars. Is there a chance that Linus moves up to the top side so Rieldson can slow up the 54?
I think that is a pretty safe bet, as we'll take a look and see what happened here on this caution. As there's the contact's already gone. 15 gets in at the 2, 22, 21, 12. 4 is backwards.
And even though this crash started coming up off of turn number 2, it still found a way to funnel up to the top of the track in turns 3 and 4.
4 just hooked him. 11 with some damage. The 1 gets a little tiny piece of it. It's right on board. Joey Maines, car number 42. See what he saw.
Now, it was a hook. It wasn't an intentional hook, but the cars just hooked together right there. And it turned the 20 into the outside wall in a potentially unrealistic way.
Brian Chu shoves Peter Terrio right through that. On board Christian Delgado in the 4. It's after he's already gotten hit here. It's another shove from the 15. Let's go one more for good measure. Here's from Brett Schneider. Ooh, was almost clear in his... That old throwback has not done Brett Schneider any good, unfortunately, here today.
No, it certainly has not. Domino's, Pennzoil, paint scheme. Penske Racing Machine has not seen the type of success they wanted. Meanwhile, the 3 is up front, and if you're behind it, it's like a black number 3.
Well, he's been driving it today. Certainly has shown the pace of the old black number 3.
And the patience.
Well, he hasn't really needed to have any patience here tonight. He's been up front. He's been in clean air all race. Minus that little bit there at the end of stage 2 and the beginning of stage 3.
He was able to make that pass on the long run as close as he stayed to the race leader at the time, Joshua Grosso. He played that patience game very well. He kept his tires in check. He didn't change his lineup. Just ran what he was comfortable with, and throughout the course of the race, or that run rather, it worked out for him. Setting in the race lead with 2 laps to go when this green flag comes out. This will be our first attempt at a green-white checker. Of course, the last time was a natural green-white checker. The green flag came out on lap 218 or 219. Had it messed up there, 229. Looking at the wrong number, but
we're all. We've spoken about Joshua Grosso so much as far as his fresh tires. Dominic Sawicki there in the 14, he is on the same tire as Joshua Grosso. Angel Hernandez came in on lap 210, so he has the freshest tires out of anyone in front of him or around him right now. Could the 45 be in for a move here late in this going?
Angel Hernandez has been fast all race. We've got old tires on the front row. Joshua Grosso in third place, going to try to take advantage of this, but it's going to be tough. Pace car rolls in once again into the Geico restart zone. The 3 car with a strong restart. Alex Aronson does his best to stay with them, but it's only going to be about a car length and a half, 2 car lengths. Here comes Sawicki down to the inside. Danny Solo also up there. Trying to play spoiler here, looking down to the inside of Aronson.
Yep, Solo gets up to third as
Caution
Sawicki
once again. Franz Bretschneider has crashed.
and Robertson. Well, twice as nice. Let's take a look and see what happened here. Robertson pushed up right into the 4. The 22 tried to take advantage. Got right into the 20.
Looked like one of the Spire cars got a little piece of that too. Might have been Casey Tomlinson.
Casey Tomlinson, the 7, the only one of the Spire cars running. Rosa Laszlo in the 77, done after lap 135. Let's update you on those who are no longer participating in the race here tonight. Marcus Hagman never did get started here tonight. In the 5, Jimmy Johnson done after lap 40. Brian Treadwell done after lap 72. Zach Bucher and Justin Barkley done after 92. Otto makes it just shy of a century, 99 laps. Michael Gervey done after 131. Rosa Laszlo 135. Joe Burgy 139. Jackson Carr 188. Shane Griffin 203. Daniel Homer 214. So 24 drivers still out here, 19 of which on the lead lap. Brett Schneider coming in. William Britton coming in. He just got the wave around to get back on the lead lap. Did the number 6, Brian Chu, coming out of pit road after sustaining some damage from a couple of incidents ago. So now one would expect Linus Brostrom to restart on the inside here this time with Grosso back in fourth.
We've got ourselves yet another chance. It's our second of 3 overtime chances here. And, well, if I said we had 3 nations represented up in the top 5 at an oval track in the Midwest, and an American was in the majority, or minority, sorry. I don't know. I think there's something to be said about that. The Swedes have taken over the top 3 spots.
Yep,
Linus, Haraldson, and Solo. Grosso, the American, and Dominic Sawicki, Poland.
Also, you have the Mexican Angel Hernandez from Michoacan in P6.
Just at the top 10, our debutant Brazilian, Fabricio Lamana.
Lamana here tonight from Sao Paulo, Brazil. In a substitute role. Or, pardon me, he's not in a substitute role. He will be in that number 31 for the remainder of the season. Also found out earlier today that Jack Jagerman, who had suffered some sort of medical issue or some injury earlier this season. That's why James Bowles has been subbing for him so often in the 43. Bowles will be in that car for the remainder of the season. So Jagerman is done for the season with the injury that he has. Didn't feel prescient to mention since the 43 is not here tonight, but still good to know for the remainder of the year. As we get set to go, Liam, one more time. Still have one green-white checkered attempt after this. Still just under 2 miles to go here at Iowa.
Just under. Here we go. Pace car makes a hard left turn. Can Linus get that strong restart? He does once again. He's got just about 2 car lengths over the side-by-side battle of Danny Solo and Alex Haraldson.
There's Sawicki looking to the inside in that number 14. He's gotten past Joshua Grosso as Solo and Haraldson making a Swedish blockade.
Are so good in the back of the pack. The white flag is in the air. Linus Brostrom has just one more flag to collect.
Ryan Terrio, or not Ryan Terrio, Peter Terrio, again, another baseball reference, sliding, going down past the start line, coming through 3 and 4. However, the man who's been dominant all race long is going to collect the checkered flag. Linus Brostrom wins the Hawkeye 200 from Iowa. Dominic Sawicki on debut manages to clinch the podium.
A phenomenal drive out of Dominic Sawicki in 3rd place, but I tell you what, the day absolutely goes to your race winner, Linus Brostrom. He started up front, started on the pole. He lost the lead for a little bit of time towards the end of stage number 2, but through the long run, got it back, and now he gets to burn it down.
It's an RCR 1-2 with Alexander Haraldson coming home in 2nd. But a great job by Dominic Sawicki to come home in that 3rd position, beating out Daniel Solo. And I think for Joshua Grosso, this is going to turn into a night of what could have been. But before we discuss that, Liam, you are with our race winner, Linus Brostrom.
Liam, up in the booth, you got a copy.
Hello, yeah, I just gotta turn you up a little bit so I can hear y'all while I'm doing my burnouts here. There we go.
Well, forgive me if I mispronounce this, but Rochester and Cigar. Rock Corning.
Oh my.
Fantastic drive here for you throughout the course of the day, and you got the job done, leading the most laps, leading at the end of stage number 1. Lost the lead at the end of stage 2, but what did it take to get back around that 54 machine?
Well, first run, as you probably saw, I just ran the bottom the whole time, pretty much, until he got to me, and then I went up and blocked him. And then on the second run, I went up high right away to see if that was quicker, and obviously I just burnt my tires off. So for stage 3, I just decided, okay, I'm just gonna stay on the bottom and see what happens when he runs to top. And after like 20 laps, or 15 laps, I started catching back up to him, and after a few laps of being on the inside, I somehow managed to pass him. So from then on, it was just to keep running the bottom to save my tires until he might have gotten to me right at the end there, in which case I probably would have moved up to block him. But for the last run, it was just save tires for as long as possible, because you never know what's going to happen. And then when they all pit, I thought it was way too early, and thankfully a lot of guys stayed out behind, and from then on it was just a shit show. So yeah.
Well, yeah, you definitely played that blocking and air game well early on before the 54 was able to get around you. But throughout the course of that final run, or at least where you made the pass there, sorry, you talked about running the bottom, and you showed patience like another driver that we're familiar with seeing in the 3. Was there any, what was the mental game there to be able to stay on the bottom and not change it up, seeing what the leader's doing?
Well, considering how well it went in the first stage and how terrible it went when I went on the top in the second stage, it was a no-brainer. I knew that if I just stay down here, hopefully I'll start catching him. And when I started catching him, I just knew that, okay, this is the line I gotta run, because at this point, I'm faster, and the more I stay down here, the faster I'm gonna get, so compared to him. So that was just my plan, and after I passed him, it was just stay patient and wait for him to pit, and then go like a lap longer and pit with him, so I'm still ahead, hopefully, and then do the same thing again, because obvious for me that he was faster on the top and I was faster on the bottom, so I really had no choice after trying the top and seeing how bad it went.
Move forward to the end of the race. You had a couple of restarts there with your teammate, Alex Arilton, up on your outside. Was there any communication on how that was going to go, or was it just race it out here for the last 2 laps?
Well, we kind of worked well together throughout the whole season, and I kind of stayed behind him in a race where he won in a similar position. So we said again, unless, well, I'm not going to use the same word this time because last time I got penalized for it. So as long as the leader don't mess up, the guy behind is just going to stay in second, and we're just going to run 1-2, and then obviously choosing which lane I was going to go in depended on where the first car on fresh tires was, and this time that was the 54. So if he was third, I lined up outside, so I got Alex in front of him, and then if he was outside in fourth, I put Arilton on the outside, because that gives him the least amount of chance to get a run on either of us. So you just got to play that game to get the second car in front of the quickest car behind you, and it worked out really well. Then I don't know what happened at the end, because apparently he lost fourth as well, but Grosso did a great race either way all the way through, so congrats to him on the stage win and some great points.
Stuff, Linus, before we let you go, who do you want to give a shout out to for such a strong performance, such a dominant run here in Newton, Iowa?
Well, obviously Alex, my teammate in this league, and then my teammate from my team outside of this league, Daniel Holmer, who was the quickest of us in practice and told me what to do, so that's what I did. And then my whole Bright Esports team and you guys for putting on the broadcast, and everyone in the league for making it entertaining tonight. I don't know if you heard the chat, but it was really entertaining. So yeah, everyone involved. And Grosso obviously again for keeping it clean, because there was some times when we were really close and no contact whatsoever, just hard racing, fair racing, and very respectful.
We love to hear that. Congratulations on the race win. You obviously move forward in the playoffs, so we can't wait to see what you get done here in the coming rounds.
Thank you very much.
Sorry. That was your race winner, Linus Brostrom, joining us up in the booth.
Now we'll go to our second place finisher here, Alexander Arilton. Alex, a solid finish for you here tonight, taking over that the second place finishing position. Talk us through those last couple of restarts there where you're trying to just keep somewhat of a distance and a pace behind your teammate.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were quite lucky there at the end to get all those late cautions there, seeing as we had older tires than many of the faster guys behind. We were catching up. Obviously, the tires cooled down during the caution laps, and we can still run fairly fast for a few laps after that. So I think that saved us. Otherwise, had it gone green, I think Grosso there would have taken the win from Linus, but thankfully he managed to hold on.
Yeah, certainly did hold on in quite a big way as well. You were one of the drivers that had to work your way up from the back of the field here for most of the night. We knew this place was going to be difficult to pass. How difficult was it moving through this field here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I put myself in a bad position there by failing to qualify, and I didn't quite manage my tires well enough in the first two runs, and by trying too hard to pass cars there. But I think in the second half of the race, after in stage 3, I managed my tires much better and ran a different line, which paid off, allowing me to pass cars.
Next up, we go to Chicagoland. What are your thoughts going to Joliet, Illinois next week?
I'm looking forward to that. I quite like Chicagoland. I mean, it's a racy track, so hopefully I'll have good pace there.
All right. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, big shout out to Linus for managing the race so well and then taking the win for RCR. So.
All right, your second place finisher here tonight, Alexander Arilton. Bud, congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, Liam, with a debutante, Dominic Sawecki, your third place finisher here tonight.
Hey, welcome.
Dominic, it certainly didn't come easy to you today, but we saw you make a bunch of fantastic moves, especially on these restarts. How did that 14 car feel for you at the start of the race? And what changes
It was great at the end. I was lucky to do the right move, which was the pit on lap 198. So I took all 4 fresh tires. And at the end, car was running really good on the restarts. Maybe it's a little bit shame we couldn't ride a little bit longer. And maybe there would be possibility to fight for even P2 and P1. So it's a shame that at the end we ran a little bit short, but it was okay. I'm really happy with the P3 finish, and it was really good.
Yeah, we saw a big recovery, a little bit of contact off of turn 2 where you got sideways and had a really good save. You locked it up and got back on the racetrack. Kind of walk us through that, and then how was it passing cars to get back up to the front of the field?
Yeah, turn 2 was really tricky here. I actually had 2 contacts there, and both time I made like a half spin, but was lucky enough to save the car and just keep it moving forward. And yeah, it was good. I saw some people also in front pitted on the next yellow, so I automatically gained some positions there. And then on the restarts, tire were pretty much okay, and I could pass them. And yeah, it was pretty fun at the end for sure.
I had a super strong finish here to come away with the podium finish in P3. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to or thank for such a strong run here?
Yeah, shout out to my team, Neonite Racing Team. We are running mostly road courses, but we are starting to run some ovals as well. And maybe in future we can expand on that. So yeah, it's nice to be part of that team for sure.
Well, we appreciate you joining us, Dominic, and definitely a strong oval run for you here today. Look forward to seeing what your team can throw together here in the coming weeks and in the future.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for the broadcast, guys, and see you maybe next week.
Hope so. That was our final podium finisher here.
So that was Dominic Sawecki there to round out this evening. And again, we spoken earlier, well, I mentioned earlier before we did the interviews that tonight might feel like a what could have been night for Joshua Grosso in that number 54. He certainly had the car, just unfortunately didn't quite have the time to be able to get back up to the front. And with how Linus Broström was expertly playing the lines on the restarts, it just made it that much harder for the 54 to make a pass.
It's definitely tough when you don't get lined up in the right line at the restarts. And when you've got a guy as strong on these restarts as the 3 car is, able to get so far out in front every time and just snooker these guys every single time, it gets tough to make the passes when you get further back. And that's just kind of the situation that Grosso got caught up in, got into some traffic. And, well, with these 2-lap shootouts, it's tough to kind of carve through the field. It's not a Halloween pumpkin here or a Thanksgiving turkey. It's more like trying to carve through a cinder block with a butter knife.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, Joshua Grosso, that incident that brought us to the natural green-white checkered, Grosso was next to Broström on that race right as that caution came out. So came out a little bit later or doesn't come out at all. He might actually win this race. Speaking of which, let's take a look at the points, at the finishing results, I should say. Coming out of this race, Linus Broström takes the race win. Alexander Arilson, Dominic Sawecki, and Daniel Solo and Joshua Grosso round out the top 5. Angel Hernandez, Tristen Bailey, Cody McCorkle, Fabricio Lamana, and Joey Maines take your top 5. Take your top 10. Chris Van Maastricht sneaks his way up into 11th spot. Brandon Hughes, Brian Chu, Jeff Weimer, Peter Terrio through 15th. Ria Ferris, Christian Delgado, Charles Robertson, Franz Brettschneider, William Britton up to 20th, Casey Tomlinson, Chris Smith, Bob Wyckoff, Michael Iskander, and Shane Griffin to 25th. Jackson Carr, Joey Burgy, Rosa Laszlo, Michael Gervey, and Chris Otto to 30th. Zach Bucher, Justin Barkley, Brian Treadwell, Jimmy Johnson, Marcus Hagman, and Daniel Holmer rounding out the field. And Holmer should have come home in the 25th position. He might be seeing some post-race stuff there if he's down at the bottom. We'll keep you updated on that going into Chicagoland next week. But until then, for my broadcast partner, Liam Irvig, I am Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. We will see you all in Joliet, Illinois next week. And remember, as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.